Rise and please join me in saluting and pledging allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart and repeat with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the record will reflect that all board members and all cabinet members are present, and I will turn it over to Mr. Bailey for the swearing in of our student board member.
It is my pleasure to introduce Emma Savoda from La Quinta High School this evening, our newest board member. Emma does not have her parents in the audience, I don't believe, this evening, but daughter of Karen and Jan. And a little bit about Emma at this time. Emma is a longtime DSUSD student. She's attended Gerald Ford Elementary School, John Glenn Middle School, currently a high school senior at La Quinta High School. When asked about the highlights of her educational experience in Desert Sands, she's indicated that she's carried a 4.0 GPA throughout middle and high school. She's been Student of the Month at La Quinta High School 3 times and has been an ASB for 3 years. Her hobbies and interests include basketball, volleyball, and she also plays club basketball for California Storm and Mary Perry. Emma is a Girl Scout. Her leadership experience includes ASB since she was a freshman and Senator of Athletics this year, and also ASB President. So, Emma, are you ready to be sworn in officially to the board? If you'll join me down front, let's get you sworn in.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 20th, 2021? Moved by Linda Porras. Is there a second?
Second, Tricia Pierce.
Discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0. Okay, board meeting addenda. Are there any changes to tonight's agenda, Mr. Bailey?
No changes.
All right, is there a motion to approve the agenda for the regular meeting of May 4th, 2021?
So moved, Anna Conover.
Second, Wendy Jonathan.
May the 4th be with you.
That's what they would say.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Actually, I messed up. Preferential vote?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, that carries 6-0. Community staff student recognition, Mr. Bailey.
It's National Day of the Teacher. I'd like to invite up Mary Perry for a plethora of recognition for student and staff. Mary Perry, PIO.
Good evening, and thank you so much for allowing me to do this. But Emma, I thought your favorite part about this job was writing articles for me, but it's okay. I'd like to start off by letting you know about some congratulations to Keisha and Chetta and Bianca Tiaga, who are students at Shadow Hills High School. They've each received a $1,500 scholarship from the RIMS Avid Scholarship Program, and they're two of only 85 scholarships awarded by RIMS Avid in the counties of Riverside, Inyo, Mono, and San Bernardino. And then you may have heard that DSUSD has been approved as a Common Sense District, an honor that recognizes our efforts in teaching digital citizenship to young people and engaging the entire community in this important discussion and supporting educators using technology for learning. This recognition allows or acknowledges our district's commitment to providing safe and innovative spaces for students to thrive as they harness the full potential of technology for learning and life. And DSUSD has been a Common Sense District since 2016. And special thanks to project facilitator Cindy Furr for leading the efforts for this recognition. I hope you'll join me in congratulating the amazing Teresa Amade, the ASB and Renaissance Advisor at DRA. She was recently named Jostens Renaissance National Staffalty Member of the Month for April. And this award is based on the Renaissance philosophy of helping students celebrate the moment that matters. Teresa brought another honor to the district recently as one of the team members presenting a breakout session at the National Save Youth Summit, and she reported that there were a lot of comments made about Desert Sands at this event, that people knew about us and knew about our work, so that was pretty amazing to hear. Hopefully you remember a few weeks ago that I told you about the Palm Desert High School broadcast news team winning a gold medal at the Skills USA Regional Competition. Well, they won third place at state. So congratulations to Noah Allen, Angela Yara, Mason Morehouse, and Marissa Tilley. For the second year in a row, Theodore Roosevelt Elementary School has been named a California Green Ribbon School by State Superintendent Tony Thurman. And this is a national award, and the school has won at the gold level, so top of the pile there. They've done really well. Roosevelt has been participating in the Alliance for a Healthier Generations Healthy School program since 2014. And the program focuses on renewable energy, ecological design to reduce carbon impact, and they promote students to be environmentally conscious, civic-minded, healthy, and college and career ready. And while we're talking about awards from Mr. Thurman, we were also notified that Palm Desert High School is a 2021 California Distinguished School. This distinction is awarded to schools that provide students a commitment to data-driven efforts, preparing them for college and career. So congratulations to Principal Dennis Sink and his team. A few meetings ago, I provided you with a list of team members who passed their Level 1 educator certification from Google after attending a boot camp. I'm going to list 12 more names. This brings our count to 34. Really proud of everything they've done in their commitment to our students. So Jennifer Cortez, La Quinta High, Ashley Gervin, Horizon School, Victoria Rowe, Hoover Elementary, Julie G.M. Matthews, DRA, Elizabeth Manriquez, Hoover Elementary, Neela Moyani, Truman Elementary, Jennifer Griego, John Glenn Middle, Brianna Pitt, Carter Elementary, Christina Andres, La Quinta High, Amelia Hadley, Monroe Elementary, Danielle Monksgard, Carter Elementary, and Heidi Moore, Desert Ridge. And I'd like to take a moment to speak in another capacity, and that's in my role as a member of the board of the Desert Sands Educational Foundation. And I know Sean is listening. So I'm so pleased to share that yesterday's Chili Dog Open has a preliminary financial result of $7,500 net. We're really excited about that. And I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on the winners. And that was back, and I don't know anything about golf, so I have no idea what I'm talking about. But back nine closest to the pin was Bob Williamson at 6 feet 6 inches. Front nine was our own Kennedy principal Patty Rice at 4 feet 6 inches. Winner of the 50-50 putting contest was Jeff Suderman. Winner of the front nine was the team from Jimmy John's Restaurants with a 20. And winner of the front nine was the Johnson Elementary team of Principal Brad Fisher and Coach Bill Baker, along with their guest players Lexi Zanovich and Ingrid Olafson. As a 100% DSUSD team, Brad and his friends won the Chili Cup. But I have to tell you, this morning during the elementary school principals meeting, there was a little bit of contention going on. And Patty Rice and Teddy Blackham have already issued a challenge to Brad for next year. So it should be an interesting game. At the March 16th board meeting, I notified you that Desert Sands had been notified of receipt of the COSIN Community Leadership Award for Digital Equity. And as I noted then, the award recognizes the district's commitment to the core value of equity and celebrates the tremendous effort of our technology staff in collaboration with multiple other district departments to provide equitable access to devices and connectivity for our students. And the award itself arrived this week. And so I'm very proud to present this beautiful award to Superintendent Bailey and Assistant Superintendent Kelly Mae Vollmer to share with the entire staff. Nice. So I'm going to bring that up here. I have one final announcement. This just happened this morning. The gentleman right there walked into my office early this morning with a little surprise. So you may not know, but May 7th is annual School Lunch Hero Day. But you do know that Desert Sands in our community have taken opportunities to celebrate the work accomplished this year over the past 14 months by our amazing nutrition services workers. We close schools on Friday, March 13th in the afternoon. On Saturday and Sunday, the full complement of nutrition services workers were in that kitchen, getting ready for Monday morning, when they began handing out meals, and they haven't stopped yet. As of today, they've handed out over 5.75 million meals to our students. So earlier today, and really today, Superintendent Bailey received a letter from the No Kid Hungry California organization. And the director asked that we pass along her thanks to our nutrition services director and my dear friend, Dan Capello, and his entire team. So Dan, come on up here with me. So Dan, this is the certificate, this is the letter, but you have to open this in front of everybody. Okay, here, I'll hold those for you.
Thank you.
And you know, Dan and his team were at the Chili Dog Open yesterday, volunteering to cook for all of the players and volunteers. Okay, hold that up, Dan.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, cute.
I'm going to come by and take pictures tomorrow with you and the team.
Perfect.
Do you want to say a few words?
Certainly. Good evening, President Griffith, esteemed board member, Superintendent Bailey. I would just like to say thank you for this award. And I would also like to say that this award certainly has my name on it, but we are a dynamic team. And like Mary said, overnight we switched from working inside cafeterias with refrigeration and air conditioning to suddenly being out in front of school sites, feeding the community. And I am blown away on a daily basis at the great work that my staff does. So this award is definitely for them and not for me.
Amazing.
So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay, introduction of new or recently promoted employees. Mr. Bailey, Dr. Salazar, anyone? No? Okay, all right. Information items, we have some information on the Head Start program report for March 2021 available for people. Now we'll go to staff conference items, and we'll have Washington Charter Elementary School annual report, and I think I see Mr. Lehman out there. So,
Good evening, Superintendent Bailey, Cabinet, and school board members. I stand before you this evening with the honor of presenting the Washington Charter School Annual Report. It's the annual programmatic and fiscal report given every May, but it's also with sadness because lately it's been a tradition that this evening is reserved for 12 to 16 Washington Charter School fifth grade ambassadors. Students far better than I can articulate why they and other stakeholders at Washington Charter School are so committed and passionate about our school and our charter. Washington Charter School is comprised of 30 TK to fifth grade classes. Currently, 23 of those classes are open for in-person instruction. This comprises about 70% of our current enrollment. 7 dedicated professionals continue to meet the needs of students in a remote learning setting. Our continued success is rooted in a relentless focus and commitment to literacy, early intervention, support for at-risk students, meeting the social and emotional needs of students, a balanced educational program, overall increased student achievement, and narrowing the achievement gap. This year, the above-mentioned focus areas came into sharper focus with the closure of schools, as we've noted earlier, on March 13th, 2020, and in-person instruction not resuming until March 15th, 2021. As a team, in support of one another, we faced and overcame many challenges. Our students, along with all other DSUSD students, continue to learn and acquire new skills. We also know that opportunities await both students and staff. For example, this summer, Washington Charter School will offer a robust summer school program. 9 to 10 Washington Charter School teachers will be meeting the needs of students in the Washington Charter School Summer Academy. The Academy will be a balance of academic, SEL lessons, and a STEM robotics lab. CASP data is in the annual report. It's from the spring of 2019, though. But I want to note this at tonight's presentation because of the overall performance of students in grades 3 through 5, coupled that with that of student groups. In English language arts, our overall performance level is the highest possible, blue. English learners' performance level of green, 17.9 points above level 3. Student with disabilities performance level, yellow, an astonishing 52.5 points of growth year to year, and only 21.6 points from level 3. Socioeconomically disadvantaged students, 7.2 points above level 3, performance level green. As measured by the 5x5 grid, 1 student group maintained, 3 increased, and 1 increased significantly. The results for mathematics are equally impressive. Washington Charter School makes this presentation each May. It's fitting because this is also the month when we recognize and honor the amazing support staff and teachers. They are simply incredible. Relationships are key to our success. What occurred on our site yesterday and other sites throughout Desert Sands was simply incredible. Students, parents, and staff had tears of joy in their eyes. A few principals, too. Thank you for providing yet another pathway for us to meet the needs of our students. I look forward to seeing all of you in the coming weeks as the Washington Charter School renewal petition is presented to the board for hopefully your approval. And I also want to recognize, as we did at the last meeting and another name tonight, 3 staff members at Washington Charter School are retiring. Marcia Eckert, our PE teacher, Deborah Borchard, a 5th grade teacher at Washington Charter School, and Luann Rose, a 5th grade teacher at Washington Charter School. I know of late you have had some long evenings, so I will now conclude.
And now we'll bring up Sally Frazier, principal of Palm Desert Charter Middle School.
Good evening, and thank you. We so look forward to this night, but with our students, and we're very much missing their presentation. I usually just sit back and enjoy what they have to say, and so it's kind of a disappointment that we weren't able to bring them this evening. Needless to say, this has been a very challenging and frustrating year. We have faced many difficult issues, had to make difficult decisions. Through all the challenges, we have worked hard to maintain the high standards our community, staff, parents, and students expect. Our teachers and staff have made every effort to do whatever was necessary to help our students with distance learning, while striving for the ultimate goal of getting our students back on campus. As difficult as this year has been, it has also been a year of tremendous learning and growth. Our goal has always been to integrate technology into our classrooms, and this year, technology skills have grown exponentially to help students and teachers move forward with innovative instruction that they love and to achieve meaningful learning for our students. The most difficult aspect of school since the shutdown has been seeing our students struggle emotionally and academically. It's been very tough. We are so happy to have our students back on campus for 4 days. We continue to help our students in any way that we can. You'll be happy to know I'm not going to read through the report. But I hope that you will, if you have any questions, that I will certainly attempt to answer them. I do hope that you will take the opportunity to look through our panorama report, which it's the students who took the survey in January. And you know, that hearing from students is always critical to our planning, and this year was no exception. And we learn a great deal from that panorama survey. So, and I did want to bring our video that we made a couple of years ago, because it's what we hope that we are going to go back to next year. We've been able to have some events virtually. We've had 4 authors who have come to speak to our students through Zoom. We had a Holocaust survivor who came to speak. Some of those things we were able to accomplish through Zoom and virtually. We did have a virtual trip to the Museum of Tolerance, but so many things our students have missed out on. You know, I walked by the garden yesterday and oh my gosh, it's filled with weeds. We haven't been able to do a thing. So we're so hopeful that next year we will get back to so many of our programs and experiences that make our school exceptional and that make our students thrive academically, but also building their self-esteem. So any questions?
I was going to let you play your video, and then I was going to open it up to every board member to ask questions to either you or Mr. Lehman.
Okay. All right.
We are learners who seek to expand our minds like wildflowers in spring. We study our lessons, actively listen, and engage in discussions. We build on our prior knowledge, We are determined, proud Panthers. We are thinkers, analyzing and interpreting concepts. We learn from experience and teach others to grow.
We're innovators, using our thinking ability and creativity to make revolutionary change. We find several ways to solve a problem, knowing we can do it if we try. We are persistent because we know there's a way, even if it means we don't see the end of the day.
We are artists painting our mark on the world through expression, compiling ideas and using color to convey, creating images in our minds one detail at a time. We intertwine sounds and fill the air with magnificent rhythm. Our passion for melody knows no bounds.
We are competitors, running closer to our future with every step. We put passion in our stride, competing against others. Win or lose, we stand as one, pushing our limits until the game is won.
We are creators, making something out of nothing, reusing everyday items. Our creativity pours from our eyes as we mold together our goals and dreams.
We are readers, consuming a new book every week like air we need to breathe. We flip pages to find messages to feed our souls, getting a glimpse into other worlds, a mirror reflection that builds identity, or window that offers a new view. We read books to develop our understanding and empathy.
We are problem solvers, rewiring the solution to the mysteries that are hidden. We think outside the box, waiting for the next question asked. Our hands shoot up like a bullet, always collaborating to find the best answer.
We are scientists paving our way through inventions, developing ideas like cord transfers electricity, engineering, experimenting, establishing, from 6th grade volcanoes and microblasts to 7th grade dissections and prosthetics, and 8th grade gravitational egg drops and kinetic roller coasters. We are poets, peeling our feelings inside out to create and relate. Words flow onto paper like a waterfall. What we think, we write, and what we write, we speak. And when we speak, we inform, giving voice to the voiceless.
We are civic-minded, opening our hearts and arms to those in need. We give back to the community that raised us. We bring awareness to social issues. We are quick to understand but don't follow the crowd. We stand for what is right.
We are compassionate, open-minded to diverse perspectives. Willing to listen to others' opinions, we learn from the past to protect our future. We are leaders, leading the world into light. We aspire to inspire. We are role models. We are the commanders, the conductors, and the generals. We are the designers, the innovators, the problem solvers, the makers, the ones who will rebuild a better tomorrow. We are the future presidents and senators. We are the future.
We are Palm Desert Charter Middle School.
Mrs. Conover, or Ms. Conover, do you have any questions or comments to either Mr. Lehman or Mrs. Frazier?
No, I don't have any questions. I just want to thank you for your report and congratulations on all the academic achievements. Thank you.
Jonathan?
Same. I just want to thank you for all you've done for our students and making sure that they're getting a stellar education at your schools. And I do want to do a shout out to Principal Frazier about the Holocaust and how important that's been. Currently, at synagogues, they're doing Zoom meetings and they're getting what they call Zoom bombing with anti-Semitic comments and pictures, and that's currently happening across the nation. So I really appreciate the fact that you're taking that upon yourself to see that you've always been active in educating our students with regards to anti-Semitism. So thank you.
Ms. Horace?
I don't have any questions. Thank you. That was a great presentation by both of you, and I just really appreciate everything that you do for your students.
Ms. Pierce?
No questions either. I'm looking forward to looking through the different aspects of your novel here. It looks wonderful. I mean, some of the things I've just been flipping through, and also both reports are going to give me a lot more information than I knew. So I thank you for that.
Ms. Svoboda?
I have no questions, but thank you for the beautiful video. I went to the Museum of Tolerance in 8th grade, and it was a pretty eye-opening experience. So the fact that you're able to let your 8th graders experience that through Zoom is pretty incredible.
Save myself for last because my son went to Washington Charter and then Palm Desert Middle School before it was charter, and then became a charter when he left. And so he had Mrs. Rose, who's retiring, and so that was a great experience. She was a great 5th grade teacher, still is. I'm sad to see her go, but the experiences I got to share while my son went there were outstanding. I really appreciate everything that Washington Charter School does. Science camp, golf cart parade. I mean, I have a lot of fond memories of all the things that have happened. I'm very glad that Susan Young is back in town. That was my son's 2nd grade teacher coming back from Oklahoma. So everything that you do, Alan, is just outstanding, and the district is a better place because Washington Charter has a place in it. And then Mrs. Frazier, my son, also went there, and he tells me when he graduated with his degree in engineering from college that he basically learned everything he needed from Miss Lagaviak and Miss Rudiman, and I know they're not there anymore, but it's an outstanding school. And that garden was actually there when I was a teacher back there in 1989 before I finished law school. So that garden has been a long time standing tradition there at Palm Desert Charter Middle School. Great experience there. I remember one of the few field trips I got to go on that my wife would let me was going to the Tolerance Museum. And so that was a great experience to go with all the children there, and that's still an outstanding program. So I don't think I can say enough about what those two schools have meant to me and my son's education. I did get to visit Palm Desert last week. I think I popped in just to say farewell to Mr. Harvey. He has been the district teacher of the year a couple times, at least 2. And he is an outstanding educator, teaches 6th or 7th grade humanities, I believe, 8th grade this year. And so just a core of teachers at both of those schools that provide excellent education. If you ever get the opportunity to walk on those campuses, you're in for a real treat if you want to see active learning going on every day. So I really appreciate the work both of you do. Mr. Bailey.
Mr. Lehman, Ms. Frazier, thank you very much for your report. I share with you my sadness not seeing the students here tonight, but I have great joy in seeing them back in their buildings. So thank you very much for your reports this evening. Thank you.
Move on to public hearing, which we don't have any, and then we'll go to the discussion. Mr. Bailey, the COVID-19 response update.
Yes, favorable news regarding our blueprint for safer economy and the current case and positivity rates. Today it was reported that we have case rate of 3.4 per 100,000 residents, which is down from 3.9 this time last week. Unfortunately, we're still in orange, even though we're edging our way toward that yellow of the blueprint. Our positivity rate reported today in Riverside County was 1.9%, down from 2.1% this time last week, which puts us actually in the yellow tier. So favorable movement toward the yellow tier, and ultimately we're hoping to get to what's known as beyond the blueprint June 15th and a larger opening of the state of California. So looking forward to that. Just some interesting factoids statewide. There are 11.6 counties currently in the red tier, 60.3% in the orange tier, and 28.1% in the yellow tier. That's statewide. With that, I'll call on Dr. Kelly Mae Vollmer to provide any additional updates regarding our response to COVID as relates to education services. Dr. Vollmer.
Thank you very much. I have a few updates for you this evening, but before I get started, I want to echo Mr. Bailey's acknowledgement from earlier that today is National Day of the Teacher, and over the weekend it was National Principals Day as well, and so I just want to give a shout out to all of our administrators across Desert Sands and also to all of our teachers for the nothing short of heroic effort that they've done all year. Deeply, deeply appreciate all of them. So I do have a few updates for you. I'll start with graduation and end of the year activities for our high schools. And I think I mentioned this a bit at our last board meeting. It will look a little bit different at each of our high school sites when you look at graduation activities, as it normally does. But just to give you an idea of some of the things to come as we are going back a little bit closer to normal, we're looking at senior awards nights, end of the year banquets, graduation bashes at Universal Studios, if you will believe that, senior sunset activities, just to name a few. And again, it will look different at each of our schools, but each of our high schools have put together a plan for their end of the year activities and submitted that to Cabinet so that it could be vetted to make sure that it's adhering to all the safety protocols and that we keep everyone safe per public health guidelines, but at the same time offering our students a really great and very different end of the year than last year. So we're very excited about that. As you know, in-person graduation ceremonies are being planned, and so these ceremonies will adhere to the capacity limits based on which tier that we're in at the time. So currently, we are in the tier that allows for 33% capacity, so not as many spectators as normal if we remain in this tier. But if we move into the yellow, that goes up a little bit and we'll be able to have more people participate. So the events will be, in some instances, similar to what you've seen, graduates on the field, but spaced out. They're on the field. And a little bit different in that there will be very formalized seating arrangements at the graduation ceremonies and very, very formal ingress and egress, not only for the graduates, but also for the spectators, in an effort to really ensure that there is no congregating of large groups of people. So as we get more of those plans in place and solidified, I'll continue to bring updates on graduation ceremonies to the board. Additionally, I want to give you an update on summer school, and you've heard a little bit of that throughout the past weeks. Our high schools, and we will be having summer school at each of our high schools this year, will primarily focus on credit recovery programs. Currently, we've got 2,228 students signed up for high school summer school, and we're still enrolling students. So that's much more than we had last year, and we know it'll just continue to grow so we can service those students in need. For middle school, the bulk of the programs will be happening in August, and many of them offering an Avid Summer Bridge program that really focuses primarily on math and science. And we anticipate to serve about 1,100 middle school students district-wide this summer in our summer school programs. Elementary schools are going to be offering programs primarily focused on literacy and math skills. We're looking at anywhere from 80 to 120, 150 students per site, and they'll really be serviced depending on the needs. So each of our elementary schools are looking at student achievement data, and they're determining the structure of their program based on what the needs of the students are. So those programs, again, will look a little bit different from school to school based on the needs of the students enrolled there. And then finally, we wanted to give the board an update. During our weekly call with Riverside County Public Health last Wednesday, school districts were informed that ACE's after-school programs could resume. And so on May 10th, we will be resuming our after-school programs, and our sites that normally have ACE's programs will be hosting those. And those sites are Korea Ranch, Dr. Carrion, Franklin, Hoover, Jackson, Johnson, Kennedy, Lincoln, Madison, Oliphant, Roosevelt, Truman, and Van Buren elementary schools, as well as Desert Ridge, Indio, and Jefferson middle schools. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Vollmer. I'll invite up next Ms. Laura Fisher, Assistant Superintendent, Student Support Services.
All right. Good evening, everyone. And I also want to share, as Dr. Vollmer just shared, with our deep appreciation for our teachers and principals who have done an amazing job over the last year or so, and we truly appreciate them. I also want to add that National Nurses Day is May 6th. And as we've always appreciated our nurses in the last month or so, or year or so, it has been over in abundance. And I can tell you I would not have been able to do my job without, and she's here. I didn't know you were here. I couldn't recognize her from the back. Our lead nurse, Susan Cadle. We call each other sisters now, and we truly are in working through this COVID. So I just want to appreciate her, and I'm so glad you're here. It has been a remarkable adventure. I also want to share that we have our updated COVID safety plan on the website now. It has been updated per our prevailing public health guidelines, as Mr. Bailey shares. They're ever changing, but in a good way, as our case rate and positivity rates decrease, flexibility increases. So I just want to talk about a couple of the significant changes in the plan. It is in the same place as it was with the banner on the top. Obviously, under stable groups, we look more like classrooms now instead of the groups, and not the number anymore. It's based on the spacing, the 3-foot distancing, and we've talked about it quite a bit, from the middle of the chair to the other middle of the chair of student chairs pushed into the desk. And that's what we've measured our classroom. So there's not a maximum number anymore. It's about how many can fit into the space. And obviously the 6 feet between student desks and staff desks. So that's probably the number one piece under the stable groups that significantly changed. Also, and this has always been a part of the guidance, even when the initial guidance came out in, September, when we opened the small cohorts, in that short-term exposure, as you know, teachers have to be able to get close sometimes to students and to talk to them individually, and that is, permitted, trying to maximize the amount of time and ensuring that masks are worn. And also specialized services. And this was another question that we even got more guidance on at our last health call, in that we can do more push-in services and we can do pull-out services, for students, whether it's special education services, counseling services, whatever it may be, as long as those groups remain stable and we're not changing those groups, because we would need record of those groups if we had to do any contact tracing. So if a speech path pulls a group out, or a special ed teacher, as long as those groups remain stable. So that is a big piece, because public health also understands we have to continue to provide those services. Also, we have put in the new schedules. That changed from the cohort A and B. The safety barriers continue. that are installed in the front offices will continue to be there. They may be in classrooms. The CDC and CDPH, gave us measures, and the CDC is definitely, and CDPH has agreed that those measures are even strengthened more in the areas of the face masks and the washing the hands and the improved ventilation. And obviously Desert Sands has even gone above and beyond what's required. So the safety barriers were never required and is actually a little further down the list of measures. So they can remain in the classroom, but they don't have to be on student desks. The testing of staff and students, we also, with the passage of AB 86, ends any asymptomatic testing that was required except if you're in the purple tier. So, but we're still providing it. I think it's important that we have that available for students and staff that are working on site. Our next one is tomorrow. We usually have them on Wednesdays, and the following is on May 26th. And then at the dashboard, that we added that to communication for sites. And so it talks about how the COVID dashboard is now on the website right below the COVID safety plan. We had another vaccine clinic in collaboration with Desert Oasis Healthcare at La Quinta High School Gym on April 24th. And that second dose is scheduled for May 14th. We had many happy high school students with their very happy moms standing beside them to get their COVID vaccinations. And so it was real exciting to see students. And of course, we opened it up to our neighboring districts and family and friends, really anyone over 16. And I got a call, because now all the pharmacies, the first vaccine clinic was with Walgreens. And so I was networking with all the pharmacies and got an email today from Albertsons, who, and I confirmed with public health, it looks like the FDA may be approving the vaccine for 12 to 15-year-olds in the next 7 to 10 days. So they're already planning, they've already contacted the other neighboring districts, and we're putting days together to be able to open that up, to be able to, specifically, it'll be open to anyone, to be able to really get our students in that are wanting the vaccine, and of course with parent permission and parents with them. The COVID dashboard, as I mentioned, is on the website. We update it every day. We currently have 5 active cases in the last 14 days. And we have a higher number of quarantine cases. And I just wanted to explain, because in the past, and we still haven't, had any close contacts when we've had kids with positive cases. And that's due to the staff really following the guidelines in the classroom. So the reason we have more quarantine is we did have one athletic team that had a positive staff coach. And so when that happens, public health obviously recommends and guides us to quarantine that entire team. So that's why there's more quarantines. The other quarantines are actually siblings that attend different schools. The asymptomatic testing I talked about, it's in the DEC North parking lot. We haven't had a real big turnout, but I still want to continue to have that available for students or staff. And then following, again, what Dr. Vollmer was talking about, summer programs, our special education department is gearing up for our ESY. We have many registrations and for our camps. And the staff is very excited about the camps, and they're trying to set it up so speech and motor activities are really going to be fun to come to. And we've had a great response from parents. And we really are trying to ensure that we have that in place to, again, mitigate any learning loss that may happen, particularly with our students with disabilities, along with all the other programs that Kelly was talking about earlier. So thank you.
Mrs. Fisher. And next would be Dr. Donna Salazar. Any updates from personnel, Dr. Salazar?
No, I have nothing to report tonight.
That brings up Mr. Aquino, Business Services.
As mentioned earlier with Mrs. Perry, with regard to the National School Lunch superheroes, at least we call them, on Friday, really I think that showed the unwavering really support and their commitment to providing meals to the community. So as a COVID response update, I just wanted to also give a shout out and thanks to the managers in food services, in addition to Dan, and that's Marta, Letty, Carlos Montiel, and Jody. They've also done, including all the food services staff, they've done a great job. There was a Herculean task with regard to routing all the transportation. So I also want to thank Kevin, Jessica, Patty, and Teresa working on the routes to get that accomplished by the start of this Monday. And also want to thank, just at least from my time being here in Desert Sands and over the last year especially, Mrs. Pauline Elders, who's on the agenda. She's going to be recognized as she's retiring at the end of the month in June. And she, without her and all the support that she's provided in the nights, that she works over hours just to help get things established on the agenda. And I just wanted to give her that shout out too. As far as my COVID response, I couldn't have done a lot of the things that we've done in the district without her support. Thank you.
Concludes our report.
Yeah, I'll turn it over to Anna Conover for public comments.
Thank you. Communications from the floor. In accordance with bylaws of the board 9323, time is reserved for oral communications by members of the Board of Education or by citizens present. Citizens wishing to be heard on agenda items shall have a 3-minute limit and should indicate their intention at this time. In accordance with the law, decisions of the board cannot be made on any matter not previously published before the board meeting, as indicated in bylaws of the board 9323.2. I'm going to start with comments from the floor, and then I'll do the online comments. First is Trina Gonzalez-Alisi.
Good evening, board, cabinet, and everyone present. This is a board meeting unlike many that we have had over the last several months. And I'm happy to give you some updates that I think that you'll be pleased with. We have gone through a lot together, and I think that it's important that we maintain our professional relationships. I know certainly every time that I get up to speak at the podium, whether it's something that we agree on or something that we disagree on, that we remain respectful of each other. And I appreciate that about Desert Sands. I've said multiple times I'm a proud Desert Sands employee. And so I appreciate that about this process. I think it's important for the stability of our district, for the constituents that I represent, and for the work that you do in your roles, that we maintain our good working relationships. We can agree to disagree, and we come to the table and we work collaboratively. Certainly the cabinet, I have to give a shout out to the cabinet for being very collaborative as they can be through this difficult time that nobody has ever had to navigate before. I'm pleased to announce that we concluded our negotiations with the district, and we took it to a vote of ratification. And yesterday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, our tentative agreement was ratified. So we have concluded that negotiation session. So that's really good news. The second thing I'd like to announce is that at about 5 o'clock this afternoon, I was able to sign the addendum to the MOU that we've had in place since October that had the language in it about instruction would be delivered in a cohort model. So we modified that language. I appreciate the language that was drafted by the district that I was able to take to the executive board, that we could discuss and see what needs to be in place to be able to make that happen. It's never been about not having students in the classroom. It's just been about let's make sure the process is followed correctly. And then thirdly, some of you might take this as good news, I don't know. We had our executive board elections last night, and I've been elected to my 3rd term, so you're stuck with me for 2 more years. But I want to underscore, just like that, we need to keep our relationships alive. I think that, again, we can disagree, but at the end of the day, we're all people, and we can communicate with each other. I enjoy laughing, and I like not taking things lightly, but I think humor helps us to relate to each other. So I just appreciate everybody who is involved in the process. I'm glad that that part is over, and we can move on to the next challenge. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Mario Moreno, and he is giving his 3 minutes to Nick Rose.
Sorry, I'm a little taller. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board and members of cabinet. I wanted to start by saying Happy Teachers Appreciation Day and saying thank you to all the DSUSD teachers and certificated staff. This year has been especially challenging, and you've all had to step up and find new ways to impact the lives of our students and provide a high-quality educational experience. As a parent of 2 DSUSD students, I've seen the ups and downs, the struggles with Zoom, and the successes. So thank you for all the hard work and all that you do for our kids. Our Classified Appreciation Week is later this month, during the week of May 17th, and I'm looking forward to celebrating the efforts of my fellow essential workers like our nutrition services staff, which I think Dan has left, our transportation staff, and our custodial staff. Some members of our custodial staff are here tonight, and I'm excited about recognizing their efforts to keep our schools clean, safe, and disinfected. When the pandemic started and the district went into lockdown, our custodial staff bore the brunt of keeping our facilities virus-free with additional duties and time spent deep cleaning. I appreciate that in our recent talks with the district's negotiations team, there has been some discussion on this matter. I appreciate also that we've talked about updating job descriptions, some of which haven't been looked at for over 15 years, to better understand the work our classified staff are performing and to be able to offer competitive pay and benefits that will attract excellent candidates to Desert Sands. As we've returned to 4 days of in-person instruction, as we look to the future of a full and robust summer school program to mitigate learning loss, and as we cross our fingers that we will be returning to normal in the fall, we will need to be competitive to attract quality candidates. Hiring was paused during the pandemic, and I know you've seen the retirements each month. Classified staff that have worked here for 20, 30, and even 40 years and have been like family have now retired. And the task ahead of us is to find and attract the next group. I want to also thank the district for giving me the opportunity to participate in the interview panel for the next Assistant Superintendent of Personnel. Whoever is selected, and they were all amazing candidates, has big shoes to fill and a real challenge ahead of them. I hope to sunshine our initial proposal for CSEA's full contract reopener during the next board meeting. And ahead of that, I want to again thank the district's negotiation team for the productive talks we've had navigating the challenges of COVID and returning to work safely. I'm looking forward to our next challenge of recognizing the excellence of our current classified staff and keeping an eye to the future and how we can best attract essential members of the DSUSD family. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Gilberto Ramirez.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Gilberto Ramirez. I'm a proud worker of Desert Sands Unified School District and a proud custodian of Dr. Carrion. First, I want to excuse everybody because my English is not very well, but I will try to explain as best as I can. Well, the reason that I'm here talking in front of you guys is because I think the custodians during the years we have left down in the recent years. Like 2 years ago, we submitted an application for reclassification. because we have more than 20 years without reclassification, and we saw that a lot of departments are getting reclassified, and what happened with us? We got letting down. Our job description has changed a lot during the years. Just to remember, who don't remember before the school were open? You know, the parents were inside the schools, and then during the afternoons, we can see people doing exercise, walking around the schools. That changed. That changed to us too, because we had to keep the school closed and maintain the gates closed all day, and look for people and strangers and notify the people. Another change out of regulation from OSHA. That affects everybody. Before, there was a guy who was spraying the whole school every month. Now we had to be checking out for something, the spiders, roaches, ants, and reporting, and then they go spray it. And then we got calls from the teachers that we had to go kill the spiders, we had to go kill the ants and things like that. That changed for us. Then trash. Trash was before trash. Now, it's not trash, everything. We had to recycle. Even we had to recycle batteries and light bulbs. We had to separate. Then another thing that the regulation change is the, okay. And well, lately, see everybody has seen that with the COVID, everything changed. We not only had to clean. Behind everything changed, we not only had to clean, we had to disinfect. That's why I'm here now standing in front of you guys. Don't let us behind. Try to help us. Try to get 2 steps increase in the reclassification. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. And I admire the fact that you can speak 2 languages and make yourself understood in both. Thank you. And next is Susan Cadle.
Good evening. My name is Susan Cadle, and I'm the lead nurse for Desert Sands. Wednesday, May 12th, is National School Nurse Day. School nurses serve as a critical health hub for students, ensuring that students are ready for learning by managing complex chronic conditions, identifying and addressing mental health issues, leveling the playing field on health disparities, and promoting healthy behaviors, enrolling children in health insurance and connecting families to healthcare providers, handling medical emergencies, and over the last 14 months, navigating through COVID-19 pandemic by testing, tracking, and vaccinating students and school personnel. I would like to take this opportunity to recognize the accomplishments of DSUSD's 9 school nurses, 8 licensed vocational nurses, and 4 health techs during this most difficult year. The credentialed school nurses, with support and assistance from our LVNs and health techs, have worked tirelessly in the background, providing contact tracing guidance to exposed or infected individuals, assisting with the creation of isolation rooms in our schools, all the while following up with parents and physicians of students with chronic health conditions to meet their healthcare needs, while attending school, training staff to care for students' healthcare needs, performing hearing and vision screenings, performing health assessments for IEPs, and ensuring compliance of mandated immunization requirements. I would like to thank Cabinet and the board for your support for the health services team, the PPE, the additional contracted staff for isolation room coverage, and the willingness to reach out to us for our medical expertise and involve us in the process of creating a safe environment for our students and staff allowed us to provide high-quality nursing care for our students and provide support to our families. I would also like to thank all of the DSUSD staff for your support and patience as we navigate the ever-changing recommendations of COVID-19. With that being said, if you see your school nurses next week, give them a thumbs up, give them a high five. We're always there in the background, making sure everybody's healthy. Thank you.
Thank you. I have only one online comment. This is different, yes. And this is from Anthony Armenta. It says, good evening. Tonight I voice my concern and frustration with the continued unprecedented school traffic in the neighborhoods outside of James Monroe Elementary School. Specifically, the neighborhood 2 blocks south of the school on the dead-end street of Calico Glen Drive. Approximately 20 minutes prior to dismissal, there are well over 200 vehicles staging on the street, blocking driveways, fire hydrants, handicap access on corners, no ingress or egress to and from neighborhood, and numerous stop sign violations. The school leadership has failed to come up with a plan. This activity impacts the safety of the neighborhood, well-being of the residents, and will impact property values. There needs to be immediate action such as busing to mitigate this issue. I'm asking for this topic to be placed as an agenda item for the next meeting. And that is all.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to board and superintendent comments. Emma Swoboda, do you have any comments? Say whatever you want about whatever you want.
No, I have nothing.
Linda Porras?
Not surprised that you're a basketball player. Yes. It's awesome. I also want to just reach out to the teachers and just say we really do appreciate all that they've been through this past 14 months, that they've stepped up and gone above and beyond what was expected of them traditionally, and it's just been amazing, and we really do appreciate them. And the nurses, I have a friend, Sylvia Stark, is one of my friends, longtime friend, and I know that you guys do. You're in the background, but you're one of the most important people that are on campus. So we really do appreciate all that you do to keep our kids safe and keep everybody safe. So thank you so much. I also want to reach out to and say just high five to Dan Capello and Nutrition Services, and what they have done has just been way incredible. So I'm so excited to see him get that little trophy. That is just the cutest little thing. But 5.75 million meals, that is just, wow. You know, I had no idea what the amount was, but that's just amazing. So, and the No Kid Hungry Award, that's really incredible. So high five to Dan and his staff. I also want to say that I am so appreciative of Cabinet and all that you guys have done and continue to do. I mean, the detail that you guys put out is just amazing. Reading everything is, you know, I just think, man, they just must put so many hours into everything that you do, but I really appreciate what you do. And Mr. Bailey, you are just a gem to us, and we so appreciate everything that you've always kept us informed and up to date on everything, and I really appreciate all that you do and continue to do. We're just so blessed to have you. And my son went to the COVID clinic at La Quinta High School, which was really cool, and he got the Pfizer, and I hope he's getting his second shot. I thought it was the 15th, but I guess it's the 14th. Anyway, I thought it was the 15th, but he'll be there for the second one, so I'm so excited that that was offered. And also the custodians, one of my fondest memories is of Mr. Castleberry at Hoover School. And he was the custodian there, and he was a friend to all of us kids and kept the place clean. And it was, you know, just there's people you remember as a kid growing up, and custodians do a phenomenal job, and you guys you've gone above and beyond what you've been expected to do from when you were first hired these past 14 months. And so we really do appreciate all the extra time that you put in for cleaning and keeping this campus as safe for our kids and our staff. So we really are appreciative of you. So, and Trina, congratulations for your on your election. And let's see, what else did I want to say? I wanted to say one more thing. Oh, I wanted to also mention, we got a lot of letters from people, that wanted us to keep the schools closed or keep, the whatever, how we, the controversy. And so I'm so thankful that I've gotten so many letters from kids and parents and teachers saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, that I've been able to go back to school for 4 days. So I really appreciate those letters, and I'm so happy that the kids are happy and that all the kids are back, well, and just like, you were saying, that we hope and pray that this fall we're back 100% fully live and our kids can be back with our teachers and staff and everybody. So anyway, that's all. Thank you.
Pierce, would you like to go?
I was glad to hear Mr. Bailey mention the case rate was keep going down, because I was like dubious, thinking, okay, did Easter break do something? But we're still continuing to drop, and I'm glad to hear that. I do want to wish all the teachers and administrators for the National Day of the Teacher and the Administrators Appreciation Day. I was happy to hear that the graduation, they're going to have some other activities that they're trying to come up with to make it exciting for the kids, the big kids. I went by a few schools today, and I hope to do some more in the coming days or weeks. The kids are spaced apart. They're looking happy. They all just said they're so glad to be back. And I just didn't want to leave walking around the schools. I was like, and especially I happened to visit Earhart, my prior school, so they're going, Mrs. Pierce, my third or fourth graders that are moved up from second grade. So that was really uplifting and fun to do. I kept saying to Mrs. Morales, well, I better let you go, but I could just stay here all day wandering around, So that was fun. And glad that ACES is coming back for those parents, just even if it's a short time and they're approved for this time, and it's so crucial to help these parents with their work schedules and so forth. The other thing I wanted to say was, the summer schools, the camps and the jump starts that are going to be happening. I think they're going to be, back in the old days when we used to do site-based summer school, I never did do the summer school where you come and get interviewed. I just, site-based where you're familiar with the kids, they know you, they've seen you around even if you're not their exact teacher. Those can be so fun, thematically based, and just you have so much freedom to build a really good interactive program, and I'm looking forward to the kids being able to participate in that either in June or in August, and I, especially for special ed, to have their little camps. I think that'll be really fun for them. So I think overall this whole end of this 14-month or 15-month ordeal, is coming to a positive end. And hopefully we have a good summer, and as everybody wishes for, our normal to come back to where life can go back to somewhat normal. So all good news today. Thank you.
Jonathan.
Emma, congratulations. Even though my children did go to Palm Desert High School, La Quinta High School I really like as well. So I'm just letting you know. But congratulations. And when you stood up, I turned towards Miss Porce and I said, whoa, is she tall? And it was kind of neat watching that you were much taller than Superintendent Bailey. Not saying that you're short or anything, but you're really tall. So, and I wish you luck. And from one Girl Scout to another, I'm glad to see that you've taken on the role of leadership, because I can see that with ASB president and all the activities you've been involved with. So, thank you for being here, and it's an honor to sit in on the dais with you. I wanted to congratulate, I know Mary Perry does all these congratulatory wishes to everybody, and it's hard to keep track and write down everybody's name, but there were some students that received some RIMS Avid scholarships. Congratulations to them. The Common Sense District, it's nice to see that we've been a Common Sense District since 2016. Yeah. Isn't that what they called it, a commons? Yeah. I have to give a shout out to Teresa Amadei, who I actually taught her son, and I consider her a friend and a colleague, and she has, if you ever want to have an enjoyable time, go on to her Facebook page or her Instagram. She does all these videos for the students. They're very creative, and she's just an excellent, excellent teacher. I also wanted to acknowledge Palm Desert High School, the students getting the third place award at state, and Roosevelt for getting the Green Ribbon Award. Palm Desert High School getting the California Distinguished School Award for 2021. Pretty incredible considering we're in the midst of a COVID pandemic. And big congratulations to our Google educators. I have family members that are Google educators, and the process to become a Google educator is very intense, and I congratulate all of our educators that continue to see that they become more and more educated and more talented with their skills in technology and other areas to make sure our students get the education they deserve. Nutritional services, it's already been said, they've worked tirelessly helping feed not only our students but our community. And this has been a rough time for our community at large, and making sure that people are not, that they don't have the money to afford a meal. And so I've been just so thankful for our nutritional services really stepping up to the plate, and our staff. I know from the district office going out and making sure that those meals were given away when everything was closed. So I really do appreciate that. Do want to recognize national teacher and administrators, principals. You guys have been able to pivot and pivot and pivot and pivot, and if you do that enough times, I guess you're going in circles, but I have to tell you, it's been amazing, the work that they've all done. Thank you for everything you've done. Nurses, I did have a good friend, Michaeline Prest, who's retired now, but I will tell you from a teacher who had a diabetic student in my classroom and had worked very closely with the nursing staff at that time, you are invaluable, and especially at this point with what you've really stepped up with the plate as far as helping us go through this COVID plan that we needed to have in place, and making sure that our students are safe and our community is safe. I so appreciate everything you've done. And I will make sure to give what I do a virtual hug to any nurse that I see. So I appreciate that very much. And my mother-in-law was, she retired from nursing, but at one point she was a nurse in a school. So I know how hard you all work. But other than that, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody being here, and I took the time out to sit down, and I'm going to acknowledge our cabinet. I said thank you to Superintendent Bailey for making sure he was here during this whole year and a half when it would have been easy to walk away, and you've been incredible. I cannot express how grateful I am having you at the helm of our district, and I really appreciate it. And your cabinet is unbelievable as well, and so I took the time to write each one of them a thank you letter, and I want to tell you it was from my heart, because you guys have been amazing. Again, I could not ask for a better superintendent and cabinet in this district. We've literally been able to continue going forward, and we are a district to be admired for with all that we've accomplished. In fact, they're yellow tier right now in LA, but they're not back in school. The students are not back in school. We're back in school, and it's in part because of all the hard work that Superintendent Bailey and your cabinet has done. So thank you again. I really am in awe, and I appreciate having the honor to work with all of you. So thank you.
On over.
Well, I think it's been said. Welcome, Emma. Congratulations to everybody. And as I sit here, and I do recognize that it is, National Teacher Appreciation, actually the week, and it was Principals Appreciation, it's going to be Nurses Appreciation. It's kind of a bittersweet, though, because honestly, our staff has been treated so roughly in the last couple of months and weeks. And I think it needs to be acknowledged that they were still, doing their work, doing their best. Every single staff member. I mean, it's hard to come in and hear, such negativity coming towards us and still do our job and do it well. Look at how many students are still excelling. Has there been difficulties? Yes. Nobody knew what this year was going to be like. I remember speaking at last year's graduations to, an empty room, being filmed and thinking, we're surviving this pandemic, not even knowing that we were just starting the long, harsh road. And I do want to give a shout out to every single staff member, because we have taken the lumps and we've still done our job. And I know that many people always say, great job, board, great job, superintendent, cabinet, everybody. But we're only as good as the people that work with us. And I think we need to acknowledge that we have had a rough year, but we have survived. And I think that will make us stronger. And please keep a copy of this playbook for the next pandemic so that hopefully our road will be a little bit smoother if it ever happens. But I do appreciate everybody. And I know that everybody is doing their best. So thank you.
I had the pleasure yesterday to do the Chili Dog Open. Saw some pretty good golf swings. Then I saw Mr. Aquino's golf swing. But our food service staff, they supplied the chili dogs. So not only do they go out in the public and feed our students, but when there's a special event on the side, they made time to be there. Mary Perry was there yesterday working. Blanche Ramirez. We had a group from Ledesma and Myers. I'm just kidding, Jordan. You have a great swing, man. Someday. But it's funny that some of the people in this room are the people that also support our Desert Sands Educational Foundation, which is in addition to what they do here at the district. So Mary said we made about $7,500. That's all going to go to a good cause. I know, again, Mrs. Ramirez took $5 from me, and I didn't come close to hitting that putt close to win anything. So appreciate that. But we do have a very energetic staff, and everybody goes above and beyond. And so everything has been said about thanking our teachers and principals and nurses, and I want to thank all of you also. But it really makes this a special place when people after work will go. I got to play with Dan Miller, a retired assistant superintendent. Ray Johnson, our retired assistant superintendent of personnel, was there. And so if you want to go and get back to normal, there was a lot of people out there that I hadn't seen for a while, and it was really a joy to go to that. Even if you don't play golf, you can go and laugh at people. So it was a good time. So Emma, after hearing everybody, do you have any comments to make? You want to tell us what's going on at La Quinta High School?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, I would just like to thank our custodial services. We wouldn't be able to go back to school if it weren't for you guys. You guys work day in, day out. And I like to give a special shout out just because the gym floors are really nice when they're super clean and squeaky for basketball. So shout out to you guys. Thank you for everything you do. Same to food and nutritional services. It's been super nice and convenient when I forget my breakfast, going to a zero period every morning for ASB, just to be able to swing by and see the wonderful staff members just inviting the students to school every morning and sending them home with a lunch with a smile every single day. which is just super awesome from our perspective. And just thank you to all the staff members, admin, teachers, counselors, you name it. It's been really cool just to be back at school, especially 4 days now. I think one thing that we all lacked was the human interaction aspect of it all. And it's been super great to be with my classmates who I personally haven't seen their black screen and their name. But I think it's really a joy for teachers and staff just to see kids on campus. And it's been great. So thank you.
I just want to say Monday was just such an awesome day to actually be there when two forces emerged, that being cohort A and cohort B, in an elementary setting. I think I was standing in a 5th grade classroom when they merged. It was amazing. I definitely felt a tear coming, even though I wouldn't commit to the fact that I did shed a tear. But it was emotional in a very positive way, that these kids hadn't seen each other physically. They've been distanced, for 14 months. So that was a powerful moment for students, parents, and teachers. Obviously, the community has indicated via many public comments, with passion, as they should be, indicated that we value a lot those students having in-person learning opportunities to the extent possible, and that certainly stays true to the board's pledge through the entire pandemic. So, what I witnessed Monday is the fact that every staff member had to give just a little bit extra so that we could all gain a lot. And I saw what we gained that day, and I think I heard it in the board comments, very proud of this district. I'm extremely proud of the board for making the hard decisions when you had to make the hard decisions, because the community has benefited greatly. And I refer back to March 13th of 2020. It's hard to even imagine that was long ago, when we had to do the emergency shutdowns. And at the time we thought, wow, this is just a hard sprint. Let's dig in, let's prepare, let's get through this to the end of the year, thinking everything was going to be rosy the following school year, and certainly it turned out not to be. It had lots of thorns, as a matter of fact. So, I think we've learned that not only was it a sprint that turned into a marathon, but this district finished the marathon strong this year. So I give kudos to every single staff member that stood up and gave that little extra so we could get a lot. And the calendar officially recognizes National Teacher Day, Day of the Teacher. Huge shout out, principals last week, but classified staff coming up. I just think we need to recognize the fact that we celebrate our employees every single day, despite what the calendar says, right? So please join me in celebrating our staff. Great victory for our students, and Gilberto, it's great to see a comment here this evening, and thank you for speaking. That concludes my remarks.
Okay, now we'll move on to general function business services. We'll start off with 3 resolutions. First resolution is resolution number 22, 2020-2021, authorizing the temporary loan to Nutrition Services Fund from the general fund. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
Is it 19.1?
What did I say?
I thought you said 20.
I might have.
Okay.
So let's go to 19,
I make a motion.
19.1.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 19.1 and 19.2.
No, we got to do these one at a time.
Oh, you do have to take them. Okay. So 19.1, temporary loan to the nutrition services. Patricia Pierce.
Second by Linda Porras. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, this is a roll call vote. Svoboda? Pierce?
Aye.
Porras? Jonathan?
Aye.
Conover?
Aye.
And Griffith votes aye, so that carries 6-0. Next, 19.2, resolution number 23, 2020, 2021, authorizing for a temporary loan to Child Development Fund from the general fund. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
I move to approve 19.2.
Seconded by Linda Porras. Is there any discussion on this? Okay, hearing none. Svoboda?
Aye.
Pierce?
Aye.
Porras? Jonathan?
Aye.
Conover?
Aye.
And Griffith votes aye. That carries 6-0. Last resolution, 19.3, that's resolution number 24, 2020-2021, annual delegation of administrative authority to process routine revisions, adjustments, and transfers. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
Anna Conover.
Conover, is there a second?
Second, Tricia Pierce.
By Tricia Pierce. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Swoboda?
Aye.
Pierce?
Aye.
Porras? Jonathan?
Aye.
Conover?
Aye.
Griffith says aye. That's 6-0. Now we can move on to 19.4 to 19.10. We can take these as a group or take them individually.
I move that we take 19.4 to 19.10 as a group. Linda Porras, sorry.
All right, thank you.
Second, Tricia Pierce.
Seconded by
Tricia
Trish Pierce. Is there any discussion on any of these items? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. Preferential vote?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that carries 6-0. Moving on to general functions, educational services. We have 4 items, 20.1 to 20.4. Is there a motion to take these either individually or as a group?
Make a motion to take them as a group, 20.1 to 20.4.
Bishop Pierce, is there a second?
Second, Emma Svoboda.
Seconded by Emma Svoboda. Is there any discussion on any of these 4 items? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. Preferential vote?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that carries 6-0. General function, personnel services. I think there's just one, 21.1, equity design consulting agreement with National Center of Education and the Economy. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
By Anna Conover. Is there a second? By Linda Porras. Any discussion on this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. Preferential vote?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that carries 6-0. Okay, general function, student support services. We have 3 items, 22.1 to 22.3. So these are all revisions to board policies. Is there a motion to approve these items as a group or individually?
This is 22 in general functions. Yes, I make a motion to approve 22.1 to 22.3.
Tricia Pierce, is there a second?
Tricia Pierce.
Second, Emma Svoboda.
Seconded by Emma Svoboda. Is there any discussion on any of these items?
Yes, on 22.2, it's a first reading of changing the head lice policy to take away the part where we send out notice letters to parents that somebody in the classroom tested positive, I'm talking like COVID, has possible lice. And as a parent viewpoint, throughout the many years my kids and my grandsons in school, that was a help because that automatically initiates every single parent to be vigilant and check their own child. But if we don't know that is even occurring around them, then, you know, it will result, and I know they might have studies that say, oh, no, it doesn't matter, but it might result in more occurrence of lice in the classrooms. As it is, they're not routinely checked. You don't take your class from the old days and you line them up and check, but I'm hoping that there can still be the notification to the parents, and I understand that part has come off the policy, and I forget the other part that came out. I'd have to open it up right here, but anyway, I don't agree with that part of this reading, this policy change.
Okay, and Ms. Pierce, it eliminates the requirement. It still would be at the discretion of site administration and nurses on that notification. So it doesn't eliminate, it doesn't say we can't do it, it just eliminates the requirement.
Okay,
do
I understand
so.
there's probably that minimum mandate that you don't have to, but I hesitate to make it a site mandated position or site position, because I think as a district, we should take an overview of the whole thing and not leave it up to principals, because teachers may not be aware that, oh, it's a choice, because people don't read board policies, but I just think it would be better if our district took the position that we're going to take it a step higher than what the mandate is, and really keep that one little piece in there, because it's, once you get that in, you may or may not know, get that in your house. I remember getting lice when I was, student teaching for kindergarten, but it just is something that is a constant battle, and I understand that there will still be the support things there for the kids that have the recurrent lice occurrences, that there could be help through the nurses and so forth to help the family get rid of that. But I really think that the teachers and the parents need to be made aware, and it has to be on a district basis. I would like that to be discussed or thought about.
And we are looking at that as a district as far as consistency, and talking to the principals with our nurses together to determine that process as a district. So it says in the board policy at the discretion, but we will be looking at it as a district.
So would the wording be changed before the second reading, or they would just leave the minimum mandate in there?
Okay, so here's our problem we're going to run into.
Okay.
We've taken these as a
Because I take
group.
it as a group?
And so I think maybe, actually it was your motion.
No.
And so if you want to parse it out and.
I could rephrase my motion.
Ms. Porras, is that okay with you? Because you seconded it. So what I'm hearing is you want to approve 22.1 and 22.3 as a group?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then Linda Porras, do you want to second that portion? Okay, is there any discussion on 22.1 to 22.1 and 22.3? Is there any discussion on those two items? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. Preferential vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, so 22.1 and 22.3 pass 5-0. Now, is there a motion to approve 22.2 on its own? By Linda Porras. Is there a second?
Second.
By Wendy Jonathan. Okay, now we can discuss this one on its own. Does anybody have any additional discussion on this item? Okay.
I have a comment, and I have seen a lot of cases of lice being an elementary school teacher. That's just something that happens. So these changes are through California Public Health Department?
Aren't these suggestions by California School Board Association for our public policy follow?
Yes.
I'll let the expert go.
Right,
Go ahead.
based on the very recent guidelines from California Department of Public Health as of 2020. And they are very detailed in regards and have 3 or 4 pages of research that has come up with the changes in the policy.
But the actual wording is done by the California School Board
Yes,
Association
yes, correct.
for the
Based on that,
recommendation of
yes,
the policy
correct.
based on that.
If I could just interject, this is a continuation of a long-term project, whereas CSBA audited all our policies, and Cabinet has been working feverishly even through COVID to bring these policy updates to you. So this is the updated language. It is largely driven by CDPH's guideline. I think it was most recently updated July of 2020 specifically, and other national organizations that influenced those changes.
And I just want to clarify, because this is just a board policy, it's not the administrative regulation, where you could then add this. We're all about the how. I want to explain. As a board member, we're just saying, we want to have a policy on school lice. How it's implemented is not our place as a board. But we can send a desire to our superintendent, and there in the administrative regulation, which is the AR in board policy, there's board policy and ARs, BPs and ARs. And in the AR, we can say something more concise that our superintendent would say there will be more specific about how it will be handled. It's not our job to do that. So we can say some concerns, like I had some concerns about students with lice leaving being in the classroom next to other students. I understand that because they're losing educational minutes. But I think that we need to address, that needs, this, as far as the board policy, this is our policy, how we implement it. The do would be the AR, and the AR could be addressing anything that we're talking about today, but not the board policy. It should not be in our board policy. Board policy says...
I understand.
Yeah.
And I don't see an AR here to see how that's changed or anything, so I don't know if the AR is being written at this time.
And it was not included, as Mr. Bailey was referring to that study. So I would need to go back and look at the AR.
Yeah, so the AR is simply the implementation.
Right.
It's not the board policy, is just what the policy is going to be according to the regulations that we have set to us by the Department of Health.
I still disagreed with those
But that would
lines
be
being
that would be
taken out.
an AR. There's a difference. It's
I
that
understand.
you're telling them specifically action to take, and that a board policy board does not do that. The Board of Education doesn't set action. The ARs set action. We only do the how. Yeah.
I don't want to be...
Yeah.
I don't want to be talked down to right now.
I'm just explaining. I'm trying to explain.
I'm
to
just saying that what they crossed out here wasn't a board policy. If it's going to be switched over to an AR, I think it's good to bring it up at the same time then, from my understanding. So, thank you.
Any more discussions or clarifications? Okay, hearing none, preferential vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so...
Aye. Yeah.
Okay, so that is 5-1 and it carries. General function superintendent, none. Consent items, student matters, none. Consent items, business services, 25.1 to 25.6. Is there a motion to take these together or separately?
We take consent items, business services 25.1 through 25.6 as a group.
Okay, is there a second?
Second, Wendy Jonathan.
Seconded by Wendy Jonathan. Is there any discussion on these items? Okay, hearing none, call for the question. Preferential vote?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that carries 6-0. Consent items, educational services. We have one purchase agreement with Solution Tree, Inc. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved, Anna Conover.
Anna Conover, is there a second?
Second, Linda Porras.
Seconded by Linda Porras. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. Preferential vote?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that carries 6-0. Consent items, personnel services, none. Consent items, student support services. 28.1, amend the independent contract agreement with Dr. Jeff McNair. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved, Anna Conover.
By Anna Conover. Is there a second?
Second, Tricia Pierce.
Seconded by Tricia Pierce. Any discussion on this? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 Oh, preferential vote.
Oh.
Nope.
Okay, so we'll do that cart before the horse thing. So that carries 6-0. Okay, personnel actions certificated. Is there a motion to approve the personnel actions? Now, Emma, you can't vote on this because it's personnel, so I'm
So
not
moved,
forgetting
Linda
you on this
Porras.
one. By Linda Porras?
Yes.
Second, Tricia Pierce.
By Tricia Pierce. Any discussion on this?
Yes, I'd like to recognize the following certificated personnel that have reached the finish line. And by the way, it's for a total of 314 years that we've had that are retiring right now. It's Pamela Burbank from Roosevelt Elementary, 33 years. Teresa Dees, Glen Middle, 34 years. Kelly Cronin, 23 years at Lincoln Elementary. Marcia Eckert, Washington Charter, 17 years. A principal that was here earlier, Sally Frazier at Palm Desert Charter, will be retiring this year with 27 years. Medardo Gomez, 26 years from Madison. Marcia Howard from Monroe, 29 years. Anthony Midcalf, Palm Desert Charter, 27 years. Sari Miller, Reagan Elementary, 35 years. Shirley Ramsey, 15 years at Roosevelt Elementary. Lori Waters at Madison Elementary, 20 years. And Deborah Zeck from Ford Elementary, 28 years. That's a lot of years we're going to be having leave our districts. So congratulations.
I just want to give a shout out to Medardo Gomez. I went to high school with him and his wife are good friends of mine. So I just wish him all the best in his retirement.
Days retired and enjoys his retirement.
Discussion? Okay, hearing none. Call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0. Personnel actions classified. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved. Anna Conover.
By Anna Conover. Is there a second? By Linda Portis. Any discussion on these items?
Yes, we have 4 retiring in the classified for a total of 115 years. We have Rachel Carrero. She's a library media specialist at La Quinta High School. Pauline Elders, and she's right back there. Yay! Executive assistant. Retirement after 32 years, and that's amazing because you're only about 38, right? Robert Flores, custodian at Palm Desert Charter Middle School. He worked with our district for 31 years. And Leslie Stadton, she's an office technician at Page Middle School, and I worked with her for quite a few years at Truman Elementary, and she is retiring after 21 years. So congratulations again. You all made it to the finish line.
Congratulations, Paul.
And enjoy your retirement.
Well, I just have to say that Wendy, taking over for Gary for doing this, doing the finish line, I think you're doing an awesome job.
I also want to thank Pauline. I remember I went to an event one time and I didn't have a seat. And you saw that I didn't have a seat. And you're like, hey, come sit over here. So never forgotten that. I really do appreciate it because I was lost. So I appreciate that. So thank you very much. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? That carries 5-0. Call out of closed session items. Do we have any?
Have none.
Have none. All right. Suggestions for future agendas that receive at least 3 votes. So we'll go in reverse order so you can kind of pick up what's going on. Mrs. Conover, do you have anything?
I have none.
None? Mrs. Jonathan?
You know, when I had the unfortunate case of having to go to the emergency room, one of the doctors mentioned to me that they've had in the emergency room an influx of students in high school and middle school coming in with overdoses. And I'm asking if the district can look into us and give us some kind of report of do you have that kind of information? What are we doing towards educating our students with regards to drugs, specifically medication that's prescription drugs, but it goes beyond that. But he was very concerned, and when he found out I was on the board, he started asking me
Do we have that
questions.
information with HIPAA or not?
We do have, and actually, Ms. Jonathan, we have insight groups that specifically do that. If we have, right now we don't have any this year so far, but any expulsion cases or any kind of discipline issues that has been involved, drugs or alcohol or anything like that, they are part of the next step is for them to be involved in insight groups.
And that's also the case for a student that maybe they didn't do something on campus,
right.
but they had an overdose and were rushed to the hospital, you would have that information. If you could just give us a short report or something, giving us an idea of what we're doing for that and the services that we offer, whether it be certain groups or something, I'd really appreciate it.
You bet, because we have the
interventions.
return to school plan, you
Yeah.
know, for those students along with certain groups. So I'd be
Perfect.
glad to put that in the Friday letter.
Thank you so much.
Yours? Tricia Pierce? Emma? Brand new stadium, new baseball field at Quinta High School? I mean, wish list, whatever.
I'm okay.
Did you want an observatory on
I
your
know.
campus?
I know, Gary Tomac lives on, and I love the picture of seeing Gary, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was great.
Yeah, I don't have anything either. So announcements. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Education is Tuesday, May 18th, 2021 at 7 p.m. in the District Educational Center in Dune Palms Road in La Quinta. Any other announcements, Mr. Bailey? No. Reconvene to closed session if needed? No. Adjourn at 8:58. Well, before 9 o'clock. I know.